All right, folks, there's many factors that lead to hair loss in men and women. And so the question is, what can you do to prevent it? And also what happens, and then of course, when you've actually lost your hair. So previously, we talked about this on the very show with my next guest. Of course, she's nationally renowned women's dermatologist. Also, of course, big time dermatologist. She's been in Glamour magazine, all across different places, Dr. Wendy Roberts. So Doc, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
So here's the thing. So when I've gotten different tweets from different people along those lines, and so when it comes to women and men, is there a particular age when folks begin to experience hair loss? I mean, obviously, you know, if you're in your teens and your 20s or whatever the heck, you got a head full of hair. But is there any particular age where it begins to change?
Yes, it starts very early because hairdos that we use, even with children, twists and braids, you know, a lot of the long braids can really damage the hair. It all starts with that. Sew-ins, tight braids, twists, ponytails. It's amazing all of the hairstyles that we use as young people that affects us.
So what is it? Now that's in girls. So what does the twist to the pulling? Well, what does all of that do to a girl's hair that impacts them as they get older?
Okay, number one cause for thin edges, which is what results, is traction alopecia. So that's the culprit. Traction alopecia is where we have that pulling on the hair because the hair is gentle. This hair in the front is very gentle. And when you put, you know, tension on it and you put beads and you put ingrown hair and you have all of this weighing down on these very delicate hair follicles, it pulls out the follicle.
So I remember, I think when Naomi Campbell's years ago when she talked about that, she was talking about why her hair, I mean, she's lost a bunch of her hair, and she said it was because of the wigs and the weaves and everything. And it was pulling on it, was just kind of like, well, it kept pulling.
It really is. Perfect example. It's an epidemic with African American women. Bands from wigs. I mean, there are so many causes. Chemicals, you know, sew-ins, weaves, keratin treatments, straight comb. It's amazing that every African American woman, because we love our hairstyles, so we need to have something to prevent that.
Okay, there are myths. There was a guy who was we were talking one day. There was a guy who said, he said, man, wearing hats is bad for men because you lose your hair. Okay, is that true or not?
It's true.
How so?
The band. Every hat has that front band, you know, that nice satin band. Oftentimes it has the name of the hat person. That rubs right here, this area.
Baseball caps too? Baseball
caps the worst. It rubs. It all rubs on this area. And this is a gentle area for men.
You can't wear hats now?
Well, you got to wear them loose.
I mean,
not rubbing. If you're feeling that brim rubbing up against your forehead, get a size larger.
So if it's tight and snug, that's bad?
It rubs. It's friction.
Okay.
Yeah, so friction causes hair loss. But we can do something about it now. So,
okay, so give me, so again, for somebody out there, so we talk, okay, so for men wearing hats as well. You mentioned chemicals. You mentioned also products.
Chemicals.
And so when you think about hair grease, when you think about Blue Magic, Ultra Sheen, when you think about some people use petroleum, good, bad?
Those are fine. They're not growing your hair, but they're not bad for your hair. It's when you take that oil and you put the heat on it.
Okay.
Then you get something we call hot comb alopecia. And the heat plus the grease.
Well, ain't no dude putting no hot comb on his head. I'm just letting you know.
Can burn the hair. That can burn the hair. Men typically have male pattern hair loss, and that starts to happen depending upon your genetics. It can be as early as your late 20s, but it can even be up to your 50s. So what you do as far as men, look at your genetics, look at your fathers, grandfathers, uncles.
Right.
And you can pretty much tell when you're going to get started.
You gotta look at both sides. So like,
yes, you do.
So I think when I look at hair loss, I can look on my mother's side and see it. My dad, both of them just turned. My dad, he's 70, still full head of hair. So so you have to look at both sides because depending upon, you know, in terms of DNA makeup.
Yeah, primarily mother's side, but it's not always. It's not always, primarily mother's side, but not always. So yes, you have to look at both sides.
All right, so last time you were here, so you talked about the product,
Yes.
Vitalize. So let's talk about that. But so the question I have is, again, so let's say, okay, so this one here dealt with edges. Okay, so
Yes.
so explain that. What does that do? Because you talked about edges and how it pulls.
Yes.
What does that do?
Okay, so you've got these fragile follicles. They're gentle. They're being pulled. You're losing hair. It's shedding every day. So what this product does is, one, stabilize the process. So if you're not losing hair, then you're gaining hair, right?
Okay.
If you're not losing hair and you're stabilizing your follicles, then those follicles are now healthy and able to grow. So that's what this system does. It has Redensyl, an award-winning ingredient from Switzerland that promotes the follicle health. It makes the area around the follicle normal. Blood flow, we all need blood flow. Without blood flow, you die. So it adds blood flow to the follicle and gets these follicles, which are on the decline, moving in a different direction. And there's different components of the system that does it. So the first one, this is a stem cell serum. So this is put on the scalp with a dropper. You put it on the scalp with a dropper. It's engineered to slide down the follicle. Okay?
So you put it on, you just simply massage it in.
You massage
Got
it
it.
in.
Okay, got it.
Right. And then you lock it in with the oil.
Okay.
Because the oil keeps it close to the follicle and it runs down the follicle. You lock it in.
So,
Okay?
so that's as we said last time, that's twice a day.
That's twice a
so
day.
the edges. So is that twice a day? Is that
This is
5
twice
times a day? What is it?
This is the magic bullet, okay? Because remember we talked about the thin edges, and especially in women, with the traction and the pulling and the braids. Every woman at some time in her life has had thin edges. Mm-hmm. So this is an all-in-one product. It's the only product that has an active ingredient in it. That active ingredient is actually in the product.
But you do it how many times? What?
Twice a day.
Okay, got it.
And it lays the hair down. And guess what?
Well, I ain't got that problem.
Well, you have some hair to lay down.
I got good
you
DNA.
do. You can
so
use that.
It hit water, it lay down.
Yeah, that hair, huh?
No, I'm just saying.
I love that.
I don't need any grease. Water, brush, yo, we good.
So, you can.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask you this
And
question.
wait. It protects the hair. So for ladies who are styling,
Right.
and have the thin edges, this grows your hair, but it protects it from heat.
Okay, hold on. So let me ask you this question.
So
real quick
it's
here.
engineered.
So you talked about edges, and so do you? So okay, so should you brush or should you comb? Does the brushing also make it worse?
No, brushing's fine.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Combing's fine. Don't pull. It's pulling that's not fine. Don't pull at your edges.
Don't pull your edges,
Don't pull
Lauren.
at your edges, ladies.
Lauren, don't pull them edges, Lauren.
Pulling them. I've never done anything that pulls edges.
The edges
How long
are
does it take for this to work?
It works immediately. You see results anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks.
Okay, define
2 to
results.
4 weeks.
Right.
What does that mean?
Looking better.
Okay. So how can you tell? I mean, is it?
Oh, you can
is
tell.
It small?
We all know, because we're all in the mirror every day. We know.
I mean, I've used it
we
for 2
know when
weeks,
we're
and
looking
I'm
better.
looking like.
We know when we're
I'm like
looking
looking for like a neon sign going like, okay, it's like something on show. Hey, better. So you said 2 to 4 weeks.
2 to 4 weeks.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But remember, the hair cycle is 84 days. So you have to use it 90 days. So use it twice a day for 90 days. Even if you don't see growth in a month, you can't say it's not working for me.
Right.
Because our hair cycle, the full hair doesn't come back for 90 days. So you
Malik,
have to
so
use it.
my-
That's 3 months.
My mother and father are watching, so I'm not going to throw them under the bus because I got to come back home and see them, right? But I'm dealing with an active war with male pattern baldness in my hairline, right? You mentioned that that one particular product that had the magic bullet.
Yes.
Now, men, we don't have baby hairs and edges. How do we deal with our hairline?
You deal with your hairline, you'd use these, actually you'd use the serum.
Okay.
Okay, so twice a day, you put that in your scalp. Then you use the oil right after it. Massage it, lock it in. You need the ingestible because remember, you have to be healthy on the inside out.
Okay, hold.
So
Stay right
the
there, stay right there, stay right there. I got to ask you because I was looking at
Yes.
Malik.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was growing up, my barber, he would not. He said, I'm not gonna line up your edges. And I was going, man, I don't know. He said, no, he's gonna impact your hair growth. So a lot of black barbers line up the front. He said, no, he wouldn't line it up. Should men get their edge? Should the front lined up where they're cutting it?
Yeah, no, that's a great thing. I don't think the two have anything to do with each other, really.
I'm just asking. I don't know. That's what the barber said. I'm just look. I don't know.
Unless he's putting beads or something on the hairline.
No, ain't no beads. Ain't no beads. Brother ain't putting no beads. I got 9 nieces. They got the beads.
Yeah. They carry all the beads. No, it shouldn't hurt it. And you could use this too.
Okay.
And start using it now, because it's all about prevention. Prevention. Don't wait for your hair loss to happen to use these products. These products are preventative.
I'll be your post-broadcast guy.
Okay,
I appreciate it.
Like that.
I appreciate it. First of all, real quick, what's the website?
Yes, www.thinedges.com.
All right, groovy.
Thinedges.com.
That's an easy one to remember.
You ain't got edges.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no.
That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.